I hope everyone is keeping safe and well. My name is Shah from Aviko. I'm joined by Oliver from Aviko. Also delighted to welcome Peter and Guy from NPD Group. And at Aviko, we are helping the food service industry, our customers, with insights, menu solutions centered around the humble spud. And so today we're delighted that the topic of the webinar is something that's increasingly under the spotlight. That's delivery. And delighted that Peter and Guy join us to deliver this presentation. So I'll hand you over to Peter now. Any questions, we can take them at the end. Just enter them into the chat box.
Okay, thank you very much, Shah. Okay, let's get started. So thanks everyone for joining us today. We'll be talking about building delivery success in the eating out market. So the aim of today's presentation is to highlight areas of growth and potential opportunity in the eating out delivery market. We'll be starting off with a brief introduction and background on the NPD Group. We'll then move on to look at the delivery market and the food service market more broadly in 2020. And we'll finish off with some views on where it is that we can go from here. So to start things off, quick introduction and background on the NPD Group. NPD tracks out-of-home eating every day across the world's largest and most strategic markets. We speak to 800 consumers daily, 365 days a year, across all key market segments. We operate in 14 countries worldwide and work with over 500 clients worldwide. Our main product in the out-of-home market is our CREST survey, which stands for Consumer Reporting of Eating Share Trends. We speak with over 70,000 UK consumers each year to understand their eating out behaviour, from the places they visit, to what food they are consuming, to how they ordered that food. We also have a service called Sales Track, where we receive actual sales figures from leading operators in the industry, anonymise this data, and report it back to our clients in an aggregated form. We also have a separate receipt scanning service, which is a longitudinal panel that allows us to track individual customer journeys and understand more about their behavior when eating out. Our CREST and Snap My Eat services are designed to complement each other. CREST is the best tool for understanding market size, structure, and trends. It goes into detail about occasions, who eats what, how it was ordered, key motivations, deal types, products ordered, and customer satisfaction. Snap My Eat's receipt-based data allows for granular analysis of products, pricing, and limited time offers. It's a longitudinal tracker looking at buyer loyalty and share of wallet. Okay, so moving on to looking at the delivery market and the food service market in 2020. Well, let's be honest, it would probably be better if 2020 didn't exist at all. And just like how some buildings have no 13th floor and some airplanes do not have a 13th aisle, it would probably be best if we could just not have the year 2020 at all and go straight to 2021 instead. But here we are in 2020, and we were approaching something of a new normal back in October, before the full national lockdown was brought in. But the second wave of infections has taken us back in recovery stages to the stage of restrictions, where only delivery and takeaway were allowed from food service businesses. But as of tomorrow, we will be moving to a new normal again, though it will be more of a new normal, with additional restrictions once again imposed on food service businesses. So it's a big day for the industry tomorrow, with food service outlets in tiers 1 and 2 allowed to open again, but businesses in tier 3, approximately 35,000 food service outlets, only allowed to open for delivery or takeaway. In our latest weekly data, this is to week 47 in November, the UK was ahead of other major European economies for food service spend levels. This is mainly because delivery is highly developed in the UK and has a higher share of total visits and has really been driving activity in this country. High delivery and takeaway activity meant that total food service spend in the UK was still at an index of 45 compared to pre-COVID levels, so just under half of normal activity levels, while it was a lot lower in other major European markets like Germany, Italy, and France. Throughout 2020, however, across the top 5 major European markets, delivery has been driving market activity. Visits have been up around 15% year on year, compared with declines of about minus 40% of the total food service market. In the UK, so far this year, food service spend has declined by minus 36% versus 2019. This means that £17 billion less has been spent between January and October compared to 2019, from 4 billion fewer visits than in the previous year. So it's no surprise to anyone how dramatic the declines that we have seen this year have been. When we look at the month of October, the performance there really highlights the two-tier nature of the market as it stands at the moment. Eat-in visits, there on the right, were down by minus 37% in the month of October compared to 2019, while grab-and-go visits were down minus 24%. At the same time, drive-through visits were up 20% year on year, and delivery was up 32%. So with that in mind, which market segments have been performing best this year? Well, there's been a real difference between the different segments in the market, and some operators have fared better than others. Total QSR spend, including the burger chains and the pizza chains, was down minus 10% year on year in October, while pubs and FSR have seen much bigger drops of minus 20 to minus 30% in the month of October. Workplace remains very weak, and the national lockdown in November will have a further severe impact on these recovery levels. But as it stands, some operators are actually seeing growth this year, especially some of the brands in the QSR segment, and have fared better than others. So moving on to delivery, in 2020, delivery really has been on a journey. In the first lockdown earlier this year, we saw the number of delivery buyers grow strongly, up 25% between February and March, and May and June. Not only did the number of people participating in delivery increase, but also the frequency of delivery visits increased, rising by 2% to 7 visits per buyer. So we saw an influx of new buyers entering the delivery market. Many of these were older consumers and also more affluent consumers, and many have gone on to make repeat purchases, meaning that we have net new delivery participants staying in the market. However, after the first lockdown, there was a marginal decline from peak usage as the lockdown eased and we had the reopening in July. There was a drop of 0.7% in buyers and a drop in frequency as well. This was kind of to be expected as we saw the reopening of food service businesses in July. Looking at the different ordering styles by month, after peaking in June and July, just before reopening, delivery spend increased again in September as the Eat Out to Help Out scheme that ran in August ended. And in October, delivery spend growth was up 32% again year on year, along with drive-through was the only activity in the market to be in growth. Delivery has grown both through delivery aggregators and through restaurants' own delivery services. Digital means of ordering, including apps, have grown faster than total delivery. So total delivery, which includes both the online aggregators and restaurants' own delivery services, in January to October was up 14% in terms of visits and 40% in terms of spend, with the delivery aggregators growing ahead of this, with visits up 15% and spend up 48%. Digital delivery, so app ordering and website ordering, up 18% in visits and 46% in spend. There has been a significant increase in the importance of delivery to the market, rising from 9% of spend pre-COVID to 25% of spend post-COVID. Digital and aggregator spend has also increased strongly, rising from 6% of pre-COVID spend to 16% and 4% for aggregators to 11%. So delivery now accounts for a quarter of spend in the market. And while this has been impacted by lockdowns and other restrictions, as new customers have come on board and started using delivery services, we do not expect delivery usage to decrease back to pre-COVID levels. Looking at delivery visits by day parts, dinner is the key day part for delivery orders, clearly with even pre-COVID, 65% of all delivery visits were during dinner. And this has actually increased further during the COVID era, rising up to 67%. So about 2/3 of all delivery visits still occur during dinner time. Lunch has also grown in importance, as we have all worked from home during the lockdown period, and has increased from 11% of visits to 13% of visits. So while lunch has seen an increase, dinner is still very much the main opportunity to pursue in the delivery landscape. In terms of the different demographics using delivery services, there's been a very significant increase in families. Families used to account for 38% of all delivery visits pre-COVID and have now increased to 50% of all delivery visits. So as we have worked from home and there's been schooling from home as well, family visits and use of delivery services has really increased, and ordering a delivery has become a regular treat for many families. Some of the other key differences that we have seen in the post-COVID landscape, an increase in families, as mentioned, also a big increase in treating missions. Consumers are increasingly using delivery services as a way to get a treat, and can all relate to needing a bit of comfort food during the lockdown period. We've also seen a big increase of more affluent consumers start using delivery services, the ABC ones, who weren't using these services as much before COVID, but have now started engaging with them more. So the two main new customer groups that have started using delivery services are older consumers and more affluent consumers. Other key considerations that have increased in importance are price. We've actually seen the share of delivery visits that include a promotion decrease this year. However, the importance of price has increased as people feel the squeeze on their household budgets. And also the demands for quality have increased as people have used services more, and also the reasons for why they use these services have expanded. Also the demand for quality has increased. As has the demand for variety in terms of the types of foods that customers are ordering. And this is coming through in some of the data that we see on the different food types in the market. So we are seeing most top delivery food items still increasing in popularity, with products like pizza further cementing the #1 position. We're also seeing an increase in products such as burgers, both beef burgers and chicken burgers, and chips and wedges, lots of sides coming in. So there's a growing mix of different types of food products that consumers are ordering. So that's given a bit of an overview of what's been happening in delivery in 2020. The next question is, where do we go from here? Consumers remain very concerned about different safety measures when visiting restaurants, and delivery will continue to benefit from this. Social distancing is a key concern for consumers, rated as #1 in some recent sentiment studies that we did. These types of considerations mean that many are still wary of visiting places even as they reopen. And then delivery will benefit from these types of concerns. As we've seen a full lockdown in the country in November, this is having a further impact on the growth rates predicted for this year, with potentially £2 billion less spent in food service this year as a consequence of the lockdown. However, again, delivery services were allowed to stay open and benefited from this period as well. When we look at the next few years, at this moment, we are expecting a gradual recovery. Spend levels are expected to decrease greatly this year, down from £58 billion in 2019 to £34 billion in 2020. And this will be recovering gradually. However, in 2022, spend will still be around 18% less than we saw in 2019. Yet, delivery will continue to grow this year and over the next few years, benefiting from continuing consumer wariness about visiting places in person, also the number of operators being available on delivery platforms, new delivery platforms coming into the market, also new consumers started to use these types of services. So a few key messages from this overview. In terms of day parts, it's really important to investigate the growth in lunch occasions, but not to forget about dinner. Dinner still accounts for 2 in 3 delivery visits. We should focus on families, which now account for half of all delivery orders, and encourage greater use by newer demographics. The main new demographics that have started using delivery services are older consumers and more affluent consumers. It's very important to offer compelling value and also focus on the treating occasions, which have increased in importance as things like convenience have become less important. The November lockdown is expected to have further benefited delivery, and we will have data available on this very soon. But I think what's really clear at this point is that delivery will keep growing and has been the real growth story of this year so far. So thank you very much for listening to the presentation.
Fantastic. Thank you, Guy. I really appreciate that insightful presentation. I hope the audience found it useful and helpful. Oliver, thank you for your help on this presentation as well. So yeah, we shall end it there. Thank you very much, everyone, and hope you have a good day. Don't know whether it's too early to wish you a Merry Christmas, but I shall. So anyway, when it comes to it, have a good Christmas. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.